afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're connecting from. So I still remain Coach Wisdom. And on this live stream, we are going to be considering a couple of things. So as you're coming in, I really appreciate every one of us that are connecting. And kindly let us know where you're connecting from and what time it is at your end. So on this live stream, we're going to, as I said in previous live streams, that we're already in that very important phase of the Nigerian political system, right? Or a very important season where the leadership structure of the country is going to be decided. And so everything at this point really matters, everything counts. In fact, the political moves or shape for the future is already decided as of this point. And you could hear in different quarters that a couple of speculations has been made as to how the election is going to look like. And some people are of the opinion that results are already decided. Some people may even be of the opinion that Tinubu is already going to win the election. Some Atiku, especially if you go towards the northern part of Nigeria. So people have already made different speculations. And then from the eastern part, somehow they may be divided into two. You may be hearing some people are of Peter Obi's camp. They'll tell you Peter Obi is already taking the election because he's already someone that has been widely accepted by the youth. And then if you go towards the southern part, we have Donald Duke there. But it will interest you, or it will be important to also mention immediately that as of this point, the INEC, which is the official electoral regulatory body, has decided persons that are going to be on the ballot on that time. And then from the people of widespread acceptance, we have Peter Obi with his deputy, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. And then from the ADC camp, we have Atiku Abubakar with his deputy, Rotimi Amechi. And then we also have from the APC camp, we have our current, that's our incumbent president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then with his deputy by name Kazim Shettima. So those are the three major parties. And then we have the People's Redemption Party, we have the SDP Social Democratic Party. For the People's Redemption Party, we have Donald Duke of Cross River State, and then we have Prince Adebayo, for the SDP. So these are more or less the five parties that have widespread acceptance, although three parties have the greatest spread, which is the APC, the NDC, and then the ADC. And looking at how the moves have been going, a lot of things, as I said in previous live stream, are already taking positions, they're already taking shape. So we hear a lot of propaganda this period, we hear a lot of speculations, we hear some may be true, some may be lies. And then every action of either the political candidates or the members, the supporters of those parties really matter as at this point. So actions of the candidate themselves will not be taken lightly. So even a word or action of each of those candidates can be so exaggerated that prior before this period, if you look at what they did as compared to the public reactions, public perception of their action, you will be like, why does this really matter? But in this period, every action, every word they say, whether they are family member, it really matters as of this point, as well as the supporters. And we know a couple of recent happenings that have taken place, such as the Catholic bishops that visited the Aso Rock. We could see the reaction that came out of them. People like Daniel Bwala, who came out to lash on the Catholic bishop and say that their political alignment has been with Peter Obi. And then we also have that of Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, who have also come to say that, that oftentimes he has observed, it looks like the Catholic bishops have been aligning with Peter Obi, because Peter Obi happens to be someone that is from the Catholic roots. And then we have Ojus Okalu, who was just on the in between. So he's not totally saying that the Catholic bishops are wrong, and he's also saying that the APC regime is not working. So he was more or less like someone who is standing as the middleman. So look at that meeting, what that meeting generated. Just a little meeting with the president, but you could see the reaction all over the country. Now, there is even a follow-up report that we are hearing, which has not even taken the major media space, of incidences around the Catholic Church in some states, that there has been some persons who has been adopted and things like that. So a couple of things will be happening this period. And then, as I said earlier, the actions, the words of these various candidates, including their supporters, really matter in this season. And that's why, as someone who may be a newbie or a novice in political activities, you should guide your mind so much in this season, because you may be planning to vote for a particular candidate, but because of the narrative that follows your candidate, you may want to be dissuaded. You may want to change your mind along the way. So we could see that, for instance, let's use Peter Obi, who is the major person we are going to be discussing here. Discussions from various camps has always ended or began with Peter Obi. So you will ask an APC chieftain on what the APC intend to do in their next 4 years. They will start their discussion with Peter Obi. The question was, what would you do if voted in on the second term? But the discussion will start with Peter Obi and will either end with Peter Obi. Let's look at Festus what that is full name. Now, that's the Minister of Aviation. The other day, while trying to discuss on the aviation, what happened, because there was a plane crashed, although there was no loss of life at Enugu. Now, they were trying to ask him what has happened, what has been the investigation that has been done concerning that. But we could see, at the end of that discussion, Peter Obi they looked for a way to chip in into the middle of the discussion. Those are things we expect in this season. And then what did he summarize? He said that already, that this election is going to be a coronation. It's going to be a coronation that is more likely not going to be an election. It's going to be more or less like a coronation. That Peter Obi is just wasting his time. Now, what are we saying in essence? The actions, the words of any candidate or supporter of any candidate in this season can be used to frame a narrative that will change the mind of people. So that's why, as someone who is an observer of political activities at this period, you must guide your mind. You must know the facts. You must know facts, differentiate facts from rumors, from propagandas. And that's why you must know what each candidate has done, what they have not done. At this phase, people who have been trying to discredit Peter Obi over the period on what he has done when he was the Anambra State governor, that narrative they have seen that is no longer working, and they have all shifted. You will not hear them talk much about that again, because it has come to light the activities of Peter Obi while he was a governor, the couple of things he has done. But before we go into that, let's look at the criteria for becoming a presidential candidate. I want to believe that we are all aware of the recent discussion where, amongst all the presidential candidates that presented their credential, our honorable and well-respected incumbent president has a questionable credential, where the Constitution had said that the first school leaving certificate or its equivalent should be used. In the INEC official portal, you will see for yourself that there is no primary school certificate, there is no secondary school certificate, but there is a university certificate. And the debate has been, how can you have university certificate, which is tertiary institution, and you don't have primary school certificate. And if you are just connecting to this live stream, I want you to tell me, please share your own opinion. If you really understand the educational system in Nigeria, how possible can someone have a university certificate but does not have primary school certificate and does not have secondary school certificate? Please, thank you everyone. I can see all of us connected. Thank you so much. I really appreciate our presence here. Your presence here really means a lot for me. And if you are new here, please, you can kindly help us subscribe to this channel, because over here we'll be discussing politics until the 2027 election is over. And then for this channel, we support Peter Obi because we know he's a man that has a track record of excellent performances over the years while he was the governor. And even from 2023 till now, there are a couple of things he has done. And at this point, Nigeria, where we find ourselves, we are not suffering from lack of resources. We only have managerial issues, which is leadership issue. And so Peter Obi, who has been known for someone who is frugal and someone of integrity, someone of that would manage scarce resource to produce more. It is someone like that we need at this period to be able to manage the scarce resource or the unlimited resource we have, but has not been properly utilized. So that's why we are bending and tilting towards his own direction. However, we're going to be looking at the various candidates presented. So first, if you're just connecting now, we're talking about their credentials. So please, you can help me double tap on your screen just to like this live stream, or you can click the like button below so that YouTube can be able to recommend this video to other persons to also connect and share their own contribution. So please help me to double tap on your screen or help me check below, and you're going to see the like button. Help me to like this live stream. So as I asked earlier, for those of us that are conversant with the Nigerian educational system, my question is, how possible can someone have a university certificate but does not have a primary school certificate, does not have a secondary school certificate? How possible could that be? A couple of arguments or debates has been there that great men those days, they don't go to school because they know very well they are men of great intellect. They'll just give them certificate like that. Please, I really want to ask the people connected on this live stream, have we heard such story? Were there great men like that were certified without going to school? Please let me know. Let me know your opinion. I want this particular live stream to be participatory in nature. I want it to be contributory. Please help us send your contribution in the comment box. Great men in Tinubu days, was there something like them going to school, or they stay at home and read and then they'll be certified at home? Was there something like that? Because if you ask me, I met my grandfather, I met 5 generations before myself. And my parents that went to school those days, they have standard certificates. They call it standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have their certificate. I met my great-granddad, I met my granddad certificate, standard 6 certificate. But our own president, from some of the arguments that have been given or have been forwarded, that great men in those days, they studied from the house and were certified from the house. And my granddad never told me that things like that happen. My own great-grandparents never told me that they were certified from the house. Please, let me know. Have you heard something like that from your own end, that great men in those days, they were certified from the house? They never needed to go to school for them to be certified. I want to hear our contribution. Please just help me type in the comment box. I'm here to see our contribution. Please help us type in the comment box. What do you know about great men of those days? What do you know about them? Were they certified from the house? I don't know if you people can hear me. Please just type in the comment box. Let me know that we can actually hear me. You know, communication is better when we can hear each other. So please, if you can hear me, let me know in the comment box. Now, another part of the argument has been that Since the constitution says that primary 6 certificate or its equivalent, that Chicago State University certificate is the equivalent of primary 6 certificate. Please, if you have that same school of thought, let us know in the comment box. Is a tertiary certificate an equivalent for a primary, which is a basic certificate? Is it an equivalent to each other? Please, I want to hear. Let me know in the comment box. Are you of that same school of thought that the Chicago School certificate, the Chicago University State University certificate is an equivalent of a primary 6 certificate? Please let me know in the comment box. We learn every day. So let me also learn from you people. Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you for connecting. I really appreciate our presence here. Please, if you are not like this live stream, help us to double tap on your screen. I'm waiting for our contribution. Please send our contribution. Just comments. Let me know your own opinion in the comment box. Because if it is the equivalent, there will be no need for me to further my university study when I know that my primary 6 is an equivalent of my university certificate. Please let us know in the comment box. Do we all accept that the primary school certificate of President Tinubu is equivalent to the Chicago State University certificate? I want to learn. Our president is supposed to be our number one man. I was supposed to learn, follow his footsteps, so that if I'm going to meet an employer tomorrow and my employer is asking me which university did I school or which certificate am I using to work, I will present my primary 6 certificate and say it is an equivalent of that university certificate you are looking for, so that at least I can be able to comfortably cite my president, because it's also setting the pace for other persons. These are some of the arguments that are going on in this period. Please help us to type in the comment box. Hello, everyone. I believe we can hear me. Let me see. I'm not sure. I want to get our comment just to be sure that we can hear me, please. I want to get our comments. If you can hear me very well, please just let me know in the comment box so that we can move on to other discussions. I don't just want to be talking and then I'm not sure if you can hear me from the other end. Please, if you can get me, let me know in the comment box. So that has been the argument in recent days, and a lot of persons are bringing, and here educated and learned people trying to defend this, that the primary school certificate, the President Tinubu had gone to school, and the school he went is Chicago State University. And the question would be, please, have you ever seen anybody that have moved directly from, you did not do primary school, you did not do secondary school, you just went straight to university? Because I have persons that I want to go and collect university form for them to just move directly. So please, is there any school like that so that I can recommend those persons? At least if I know, it will save them the stress of reading, the time to go and be looking for admission, since you can easily be taken without the JAM certification. You just go straight to university. So you could see all this argument. These are some of the things starting from criteria. And that's some of the things that in a working system, I believe that should not even be an argument. That if the persons who made the constitution have looked into these factors, that for you to become a presidential candidate, these are the minimum requirements, and they compose it and put it in a formal document called the Constitution, I believe that there should be a body that should say, if you don't have this criteria, if you don't meet this criteria, there is no need for pushing further. You are actually disqualified from the race. But we're not seeing it in this case. We're not seeing this. And then there's another interesting argument which I just want to put. Some quarters, they are like, President Tinubu does not have a brother, does not have a sister, a known brother, a known sister, a known family generation, a known classmate. I don't know how true that is. Please, if you know how true it is, let us know in the comment box. If you know how true that is, let us know in the comment box. But and then on the other side, the other camp now, if you have watched, there's a video I posted about that. The other camp now asks the question, and like, you that is asking, President Tinubu does not have brother, sibling, classmate, and the rest. Does Atiku also have classmate? Does he have uncle? Does he have father, a known classmate, and so on? Please, if you know any of them, let us know in the comment box. So, I know it may not matter to you. Now look at other aspects. Yeah, thank you so much, Prince Joe. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your presence here. Thank you so much. At least I can believe now that we are actually getting me. I want to believe now that we are getting me. So, Prince Joe, I believe this is your first time on this particular channel. I would really appreciate if you can help me click the subscribe button. However, we're asking a question. We say that the question is there any possibility for someone who does not have primary school certificate, secondary school certificate, and then automatically is given an employment to university to study? Is there anyone like that? Let us know. Or is there any school like that? Let us know. And then for those who are outside the country, or for those who have traveled outside, is there any provision like that in the Chicago State University, you don't need a primary school, you don't need a secondary school certificate to directly get an admission? Is there anything like that? Please, I want clarification on that area. And then the second question is primary school certificate an equivalent of a university certificate? Please, if you have answer to that, let us know. And then there are people who argue on the other camp, and they are like, to be a president, you don't need school certificate to be a president. There are people that never go to school but can lead very well. Please, if you have that same school of thought, let us know in the comment box. Do you believe that you don't need to go to school to be a president? You know, towards 2017, 2018, there was this phrase that was going around. It's a school na scam. So let me know if school truly na scam. You really don't need to go to school to be the president of Nigeria. So that other people too will take, we are learning from our president, who is our number one example. He's our number one citizen. So some persons argue that to be a president, you don't really need to go to school. What we are looking for is your capacity to lead the people. Do you think that education have a role to play to become a president, a governor in Nigeria? Let us know in the comment box. From my own end, I believe that it is necessary. It is a basic requirement. First, you must be literate enough. And literacy starts from the ability to read and write. Because you are going to be meeting persons. You'll be going for meetings and so on, that you need people. And then when they are presenting certain words, they bring certain documents, you don't just sign blindly. At least going to school is a criteria to make you learned. That's from my own end. And I believe if you go to school, if you are learned, things like sectors like the educational sector, you are going to take it serious. Because somebody who did not go to school will not place priority on the educational system. That is another aspect I am looking at it from. But you can also share your own opinion in the comment box. Please share your opinion in the comment box. Let us know. Do you think that education has a role to play with leadership selection and election in Nigeria? Do you think education has a role to play? Please let us know in the comment box. Prince Joe, I don't know if you are there. Everyone that is still connected, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you for having me here. I would want this particular discussion to be participatory in nature. I want us to send our contributions. So if you are connecting, please kindly help us comment in the comment box your opinion while we are discussing. Please, and also, I'll also be giving a shout out to as many of us that are active on this live stream. So please, do you believe, or are you of that school of thought that education does not have a role to play? Okay, Prince Joe say you can get admission by that means to Prince Joe said that you can get admission by that means to Gege University and APC University. Wow, this is interesting. Prince Joe, are you a student of Gege? Let us know in the comment box. Are you a student of Gege? Are you a student of Gege, or you are a student of APC University? Please, if you are mind to share with us the location of that university, because I want to recommend people. Prince Joe, that's quite hilarious though. So, as I was saying, please, if you also have your own perspective, share with us in the comment box. Do you think that education plays a role in leadership selection and election in countries like Nigeria. I have shared my own. I said that one, you have to be literate enough so that you don't go and sign a document that will enslave the entire country. So that when they are having discussions, education have a certain way of, it has a certain way of giving you confidence to face people, especially the first world country. And then on my other point, I believe that if you go to school, you place priority on the educational sector, because someone who does not go to school would not even value investing on the educational sector. That is another point from my own end. And then the next one is that education sharpens the mind. It sharpens the mind. It helps you to think out of the box. It sharpens your mind. So I believe that for you to even be a leader in such sensitive positions, you must get certain level of education. And I believe persons that even made the constitution that primary school certificate for the president, that those group of persons are even lenient enough. And I believe, if I want to even argue further, I believe that in those days, the educational system was not watered down as of what it is now. Those days, for you to come out from primary school, in fact, most persons, they only did primary school alone. And from primary school, they were able to, they would go for skill acquisition. Because at that stage, they were productive enough to start creating things. So they could create, which in most advanced countries, most of these technological advancements we're having, they are not created by university graduates. There are people that only have just that basic education. There are the people that do most of, like some of these phones we're using, just basic education is what is necessary. So those days, people that went out of secondary school, there were people that they have sharp brain, sharp mind. They could think out of the box. They had solutions to render. Unlike these days where the educational system has been watered down. Those days you don't have incidences of bribery, incidences of malpractices and so on. They were rare. So if somebody tells you he's a first class student, you don't need to even do, in fact, those days, they don't even do interview for first class students. So Prince Joe said, me and my Baba graduated from that school in 2023 before we started this journey. That is quite hilarious, though. That's quite hilarious. So Prince Joe, you actually got admission into Gege University and University of APC. Wow, it's amazing meeting you, though. All right, so I'm thanking everyone for connecting. Please, if you are just connecting to this live stream, help us to double tap on your screen. Help us to double tap on your screen. And also help us share this live stream, okay? So I believe that if you are educated, which is one of the criteria, you're able to invest on the educational sector. Two, you have a sharp mind. You will not just be played in the international public system. You will not be played. That is from my own perspective. So let me know your own opinion. What do you think about our leaders being educated? What do you think about it? Do you think it's a criteria that they must all be educated before they handle some sensitive position like that of the president and that of the governor? And that will even push us further. There is this thing that plays a role in every electoral season, every election cycle, which is the aspect of religion, the aspect of tribe, the aspect of regional candidacy, which plays a role. Now, if you look at a system like Nigeria, right? Nigeria has over 300, if not more, over 300 ethnic groups, if not more. But I'm just using the barest minimum, right? That okay, if I don't want to blow it out of proportion, at least 300 ethnic group. And then at least 100 major ethnic group. Each state alone, like Cross River State, for instance, Cross River State have over, if not less than 15 different ethnic group. Right? So if you want to check it for, there are states that, okay, like, I think Kano, Kaduna, that have 51 different local government. Each of them have their own ethnic belief, their own ethnic practices. So if you want to base election by regional politics, we will not have competent leaders. I believe that regional politics should be the last criteria and not the basic criteria from my own perspective. Two, I don't even believe that religion should play a major role. I believe that in this 21st century, there should be freedom of religious practices, because Nigeria in itself is a multi-religious system. It is not just Muslims alone that are in Nigeria. It is not just Christians alone. We have the atheists, we have the traditionalists, we have the Baha'i, we have in fact, we even have the Buddhists in Nigeria. We have the Hinduists, we have the Jewish practicing Christians. We have different religion. We even have the Eke caste and the rest and the rest. So I don't believe religion should be the basic thing we should be looking at. That is from my own perspective. But when it comes to every electoral cycle, we'll start talking about tribe, we'll start talking about region, we'll start talking about religion. And that's why we keep missing it for each time. For each time, we miss that aspect of getting a competent leader. Now look at the various leaders that are there. What is their track record whilst they were governors, right? I think, give me a moment. You can do that from your end. Let's pick the first person. Tinubu, while he was a governor, his achievement, right? Let's look at Tinubu achievement while he was the governor, so that we can be fair with all of them, right? So, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I want us to check it up so that we'll be factual on what we are saying, right? Achievement. Now, listen up, right? I want us to check something now. During Tinubu's tenure as governor of Lagos State, which is between the year 1999 to 2007, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is credited by supporters and many analysts with initiating reforms that influence the state's long-term development. So some of the most frequently cited achievements include increase internally generated revenue. So Lagos State monthly internal generated revenue reportedly grew from 600 million in 1999 to over 7 billion by the end of his administration through tax. Through what? Tax. Okay? We'll come back. Underline that word, tax. We'll come back to tax. And improve revenue collection. Tax/revenue collection. The next one. Public transportation reform. He strengthened Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority. He initiated reforms that later led to bus rapid transport, which is BRT. For those of us that have been to Lagos, we know about BRT, right? So he was the one that started the initiative that led to it, right? And then laid the groundwork for the Lagos Rail network. That is the second achievement of Tinubu. So the first one was in taxation. The second one is in transport. Then the next one, infrastructure development. Let's speak. He expanded and rehabilitated major roads. He began project that improved traffic management and urban mobility. Okay, he invested in drainage and environmental renewal. Now let's go to civil service and governance reform. He introduced computerization in government operation, implemented payroll reforms, and reduced ghost workers, reorganized ministries for greater efficiency. Let's go to creation of local government council development area. He created 37 local council development areas to improve grassroots administration, draw his led to a legal. Okay. All right, let's go to education. He increased investment in schools, rehabilitated educational facilities, and expanded teachers' recruitment and educational planning. Healthcare, upgraded several public hospitals and primary healthcare centers, expanded access to maternal and child health service. Economic development, encourage private sector participation. Okay. All right. Then the next one, judicial and constitutional reform. Successfully challenged the federal government withholding of Lagos local government funds with landmark Supreme Court decision for future growth. Many initiatives begun during his administration, including transport planning, revenue reform, and so on. That is for Tinubu. Let's go to the next person. Atiku served as deputy president, that is vice president. So for Atiku, we already know he had a lot of scandal. Maybe we'll not use Atiku here at this point. Let's pick Donald Duke as governor. Let's use Donald Duke as governor. Let's use Donald Duke now, and let's see what Donald Duke achieved as governor. Let's see what Donald Duke achieved, right? Now, Donald Duke for his own, tourism was number one. Remember, Tinubu owned what we picked. The first one was what? Taxation. The major achievement for Donald Duke was tourism. Now, he launched Calabar Carnival, now popularly known as Africa's biggest street party, which attracted thousands of local and international tourists annually and significantly boosted the state tourism industry. Tinapa Business and Leisure Resort. Now, as I'm picking them, I'll come back to continuity, because that's one thing our governance lack in our own time, right? So he initiated the development of Tinapa and so on. Then the next one is Obudu Ranch and Resort Development. So for those of us that have traveled to Cross River State, there is a place, a tourist site called Obudu Cattle Ranch, right? So that was brought by Donald Duke. The next one, environmental cleanliness. Now, on this aspect of environmental cleanliness, during the period of Donald Duke, from beginning to end, Cross River State was #1 cleanest state. From the day he stepped to government when he left, Cross River State skipped to #1 cleanest state. So that's the aspect of environmental aspect. Infrastructure development. He constructed and rehabilitated roads, improved public buildings, expanded water supply projects, and upgraded them. Now, which is, Tinubu also did little things in this area from what we read earlier. Now, in terms of Donald Duke, when it comes to this aspect of this, as we call, water supply, he was the one that brought water board in Cross River State. He was the one that really paid, innovated on that aspect, right? Civil service reform, he introduced computerization, which is the same thing. Now, know that era was the era of Obasanjo. So Obasanjo, they were the ones that really computerized things in their regime. So introduced computerization of state service payroll system to improve efficiency and transparency, which is the same thing as Tinubu. Now, agricultural development. He promoted export-oriented agriculture, including investment in crops such as pineapple, cashew, oil palm, and castor oil to diversify state economy. I don't know how many of us have listened to Donald Duke's recent interview where he talked about agriculture. Now, Donald Duke actually also invested in agriculture, which we did not find in Tinubu's achievement, right? The next one, prudent financial management. Remember, we did not see this in Tinubu's achievement. So Donald Duke, he created a special reserve fund for rainy day. He called that scheme Rainy Day Fund in 2005 to cushion states against economic downtowns and fluctuation in federal allocations. Now, when it comes to Tinubu, when we're reading the achievement of Tinubu, you will notice one thing. There was nothing like frugality in terms of prudent spending, which is, if you can remember very well, Tinubu said he's actually trying to implement what he used to transform Lagos State, is what he wants to implement in the federal level. If you have really followed Tinubu interviews, the interviews he has granted, his speech and manifesto. So he will constantly tell you he wants to implement the same kind of pattern that he used to transform Lagos State to Nigeria. Now, if you check that structure, there was nothing to curtail expenditures or expenses. Also, which is what you are seeing today. And then the next thing, you also see that he borrows a lot, he loaned a lot. Those things were also in the first tenure. Now let's go to the next one. All right, let's pick Peter Obi. Let's pick Peter Obi now. Let's pick Peter Obi. Let's pick Peter Obi, right? Now, let's listen to that of Peter Obi. Peter Obi served as governor of Anambra State from March 2006 to March 2014. With interruptions due to implement impeachment, and court ruling, his administration is often associated with fiscal prudence. Mark that word. Mr. Daniel, sir, how many interviews has Tinubu granted? Tinubu have not granted frequent local interviews. He has granted international interviews. That one alone, I will not want to lie because of any politics. Tinubu have actually granted international interviews. You can actually check it. It may not be much, but he has granted interviews. He has actually granted interviews where he has stated some of the things he intends to achieve and things like that, right? Now, so I don't know if I've answered you, Mr. Daniel. He has actually granted interviews, but within, that's locally, he has not, I don't think he has granted, from our own major media bodies, I don't think he has granted those interviews. But for the international body, he has actually granted those interviews. Now, okay, so when it comes to Peter Obi, the first aspect you will see that we talk about fiscal prudence spending, which was found in Donald Duke, but was never found in Tinubu, which is why if you come to this prudence spending, right, if you are not putting a body to regulate spending, even the looted funds you are actually recovering, it will still be sinking to leaking pockets because there is no body set aside to regulate the available resources, the available incomes that are coming in, the money, the recovered money and the generated money. You will not be able to monitor it. And because that loophole is there, it further gives room for corruption of public officers. So let's continue that of Peter Obi. Improvement in education. So Peter Obi had three major agenda. Peter Obi had three major agenda. Just like Donald Duke that I say his major agenda were two. Donald Duke had two major agenda with other sub-agendas. The major agenda for Donald Duke was tourism. That was Donald Duke's major agenda, tourism. The second one was education. Donald Duke recorded a lot of successes in education. It was in his regime. He printed books and gave it out to students. It was in his regime he printed books, gave it out to students. It was in his regime that most schools converted to the use of computers. In fact, Donald Duke was the first person that started the end of typewriter in his regime. He was one that started the end of typewriter. It was one that started the end of most schools started moving from typewriter, in fact, to computerize this thing, system of education. So it was in his regime. So his major agendas were tourism, education, then you now follow by agriculture and the rest and the rest. Now, when it comes to Peter Obi, he has three major agendas, which is one, regulating government spendings, which is why he will tell you that if I don't steal, nobody under me will steal. If I don't steal, nobody under me will steal. The second one is that the aspect of education, just as I mentioned earlier, once you have sharp minds, once you have minds that are educated, they could be able to think out of the box. Instead of thinking on spendings and wastage, they'll be thinking on creativity and production, which is why he measured it as moving from consumption towards production. The next one is the aspect of health. You need a healthy society to become a productive society. The system cannot be productive if it is not healthy. So first of all, the system needs to be what? Healthy. Then you can now move to the aspect of infrastructure and the rest. So what are some of those things? So he left a large financial reserve because he kept a body to regulate government spendings. That is for Peter Obi now. Because there was a body to regulate government spendings, to checkmate. Now, let's look at that particular incident that led to, what is his name? This former Ebonyi State governor, the Minister of Works. What is that his name? Please, someone can help me remind me his name in the comment box. David Umahi. Now, David Umahi, this is what brought that argument. Peter Obi went to a spot where the road was bad and then snapped himself and posted the picture. With that, it is a way of putting the government or the person in charge of that responsibility in check. What do we mean? If you are a minister of work under Peter Obi and you have taken an allocation for your project, how he is going to actually, he will not be in the office waiting for you to come and give him report. He will take his own self out and be working through each of those projects to checkmate if you have actually done those jobs. So that is a strategy that the masterpiece that Peter Obi worked with, which helped him to leave a large sum of money. Because if he is to recover, because he has a body that regulates the spending, recovered funds would also be checkmated, that they are not also being diverted. So he left office with over 75 billion in cash. He left office with over 75 billion in cash and investment, including cash balances and shares in companies, which you can actually reference that to his official handover records. The next one is that funds included cash in state accounts and investment in companies such as Nigerian Breweries, Fidelity Bank, and others. These figures has been publicly discussed and generally supported by official records. As I said earlier, there are documents to this. Somebody like Obiano, I will post that video later. He came and even attested to that morning Peter Obi told you that he left. He actually met that morning. The morning he told you he left, he actually met that morning. And most of this APC, since they saw that they cannot counter that enough, because they initially brought propaganda to counter that, but they now saw the propaganda was not working. They now came up with an idea that even though he left money because he did not pay workers. That is another agenda they now brought up, that he had money. He recorded that he left huge amount of money because he did not pay worker. But initially, we were not accepting he actually left money. So, as I told us earlier, during this phase, you'll be seeing a lot of propaganda. That takes us to another one, in national educational reform. Remember, Peter Obi, from records, Anambra State was 26th in WAEC and NECO. Peter Obi took it from 26th to 1st, at least for 3 consecutive years. Now, he returned many mission schools to churches in partnership with the state. So instead of the state to be the one funding most of these schools, he allowed the missionaries to actually be the one to regulate it so that the funding can come from NGOs, which indirectly is also reducing government expenditure. The next one is that he built, underlined built, and also did what? Renovated a couple of classrooms. He renovated a lot of classrooms, which is one thing I said that in Nigerian politics, there is one thing that have taken us aback, which is if any regime comes on board, they want to start their project from the scratch, put aside the one of their predecessor, which the money that were invested by their predecessor on those projects, because there is no continuity, it now becomes a wastage. And therefore, why are they doing this thing? They are doing this because it will give room for them to be able to loot more funds in the name of carrying out projects. But if there were things like continuity, Nigeria today will be competing with the first world country, because what we already have, it's just like somebody who have a mansion already and now have money that can produce up to 8 other mansions. You now move on to buy the 8th mansion and do away with the first mansion that you had. At that point, the money that was invested to create the first mansion is lost. So therefore, the government money that was invested in the previous regime, from your predecessor, that government money that was spent during their regime automatically becomes a waste. And therefore, the money that you would have used to invest in another area in your own regime will now be used to start again from the scratch. And that has been what has kept us where we are, which is why I say that Nigerian problem is not really lack of resources. It is rather a leadership issue. Because where there are leaders who does the role of continuity, it rather help to minimize expenditures. Please, if you are just connecting to this live stream, help us to double tap on the screen, double tap on your screen, or you press the like button below just to like this live stream. You can also help us to share the live stream. And also over here, we're discussing on some of the important things you should know while we're moving towards the election season in 2027. All right. So please, as you stay connected, if you have any suggestion or any opinion, anything at all, any idea, please do well to drop it in the comment box. We really appreciate. Please do well to drop it in the comment box. All right. Now, the next one is Anambra was recognized by the federal government as one of Nigeria's best performing states in education during his tenure. At least 5 schools during Peter Obi's regime were number 1. They were the top in education, at least using WAEC and NECO. WAEC and NECO as the parameter. The next one, in terms of healthcare improvement, he upgraded numerous general hospitals and primary healthcare centers, which this was the lapses found in the Donald Duke regime. It was a lapses found in Donald Duke regime. So Peter Obi, because health is one of his major priorities, he invested more on upgrading numerous general hospitals and primary healthcare centers. He supplied hospitals with modern medical equipment. He improved maternal and child health care services. In terms of road infrastructure, Peter Obi built a lot of roads. He constructed, he rehabilitated. So there was that part of continuity, which is to be retouching on those roads, ensuring that those roads get maintenance, the ones that were created before him. And then he created a new one by himself. Now, so there were several major roads were constructed, bridges across the state were also constructed, improving connectivity between the communities. And then fiscal discipline. He reduced state debt profile while increasing savings. So he ensured, which he will always tell you, that when it comes to saving, he was intentional in that aspect. And Nigeria today, we need people, because the amounts that the government, Nigeria as a country, is owing already. We don't know how many generations in the future will be able to pay those money. So we don't even need leaders that will continue to borrow. The kind of leader we need now is a leader that will help us to save so we can pay up the one we are owing. That's the kind of leaders we need now. The ones that will be able to pay up what we are already owing, not the ones that will come and borrow more to add. Look at the argument that was taking place some weeks ago, where Tinubu wanted to collect money from, I think it was World Bank, something like that, where how do you call that body that regulates spendings? This monetary fund body, they had to advise Nigeria that please don't collect that loan. Please don't collect that loan. But your president said that borrowing is not leprosy, that you should borrow. Borrowing does not kill somebody. We don't need such kind of leader again. Because our threshold for what we have borrowed, we need to start paying out those money. We don't need to continue padding loans, borrowing to pay loan. We need to start saving. So we need leaders that can be able to do what? To save. So we can be able to pay up the loan that we're already owing. Now, he was widely recognized for prudent management of public finances and prioritizing value for money in government. During that is Peter Obi. The next one is prompt salary and pension payments. That's why Peter Obi can always challenge anybody and say, show me any public officer, show me anybody at all during his regime that said that he was being owed and he will resign from the presidential race. During this period, during this tenure, most governors were owing state monies. Most governors were owing their workers. In different projects, they were owing. But this man was able to pay all his workers. So civil servants and pensioners were generally paid regularly during his administration. A point often highlighted, okay, which is, I've said already. Now, in terms of security, It was recorded that Anambra State during his tenure, during that time, that it was one of the most insecure states. It was one of the most insecure states. And Peter Obi is not that kind of leader that will come to the airport and wait for the victims to come and meet him in the airport for him to commensurate with them. He's not that kind of person. Peter Obi was on ground. He will go with you to the bush. He was that person that he was among persons that started that policy that if a kidnapper is actually cuffed, the building will be brought down to the ground level. He will destroy the building and the properties and everything will be confiscated by the government just to be able to deter others so that others will not take the same path. It was Peter Obi was among persons that started that particular policy. So he worked with security agencies and community leaders to improve security in Anambra, contributing to a decline in some categories of crime during his tenure. That is another achievement of Peter Obi. In terms of investment promotion, he encouraged private sector investment and supported growth of market and small businesses, helping to strengthen the state commercial activities. It was in Peter Obi's regime we had these innocent vehicles. Please, if you are connected to this live stream and you know about innocent vehicles, let us know in the comment box. If you are connected to this live stream, you know about innocent vehicles. And then if you still know about that particular body, let us know the current profile of that particular company. That's to show us how much the country is going behind, because we no longer prioritize local investors. So in his regime, these innocent companies invested on automobiles, invested on textiles, invested on even rubbers. It was this time you see there are some chairs. If you take some of this plastic chair, you see written on it innocent. This man is the owner of that particular company. It was because the environment was made productive enough for him to be able to invest. But how do you invest? Let me tell you the truth. There are parts of Nigeria today, a greater part of Nigeria today, that you are not thinking of what you are eating. You are rather thinking, am I even going to be alive to see the next day? Then how can those persons in such community be able to think of production? So that means security is the bedrock upon which investment and production can take place. Peter Obi got a lot of recognition and awards during his tenure. He received several awards for good governance and fiscal management. He was recognized by organizations such as Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for progress in areas including immunization and primary health care. Now, it was officially recorded that he was the first man that made the Millennium Development Goal. And he got that award back to back. So Peter Obi, in terms of his legacy, is frequently cited as one focused on financial prudence, investment in human capital, and long-term planning. Having known this about this major candidate, I don't believe at this point we should be confused about who we want to vote. In terms of President Tinubu, it's not as if that man is not working. But all I can tell you is that this is the height, the peak of this man's performance. Because if this man had any solution, close to this election period is when we are supposed to start seeing these solutions. Because nobody will want to lose. We are not supposed to be struggling to elect out a working president. No. There's not anybody can convince us otherwise. If we have a working president, he's not even supposed to campaign. He's not even supposed to campaign at all. He's actually campaigning. People are paying, they're spending massively to campaign for him. Because we are not seeing most of the things we expect are basic requirements, basic needs of Nigerians. You want to talk about security? You want to talk about the standard of living? You want to talk about education? Compare how much it takes someone to pay for school fee these days I know somebody want to argue with me about NEFON loan. Do I need to loan? In past administration, do they need to loan to go to school? So if I loan that money, is the loan free? Loan simply means I am giving you this money, and at the end of the day, I will expect you to pay me back the money. Why do I need to start paying loan when there can be room for free education? Proud to this government, primary 6 education moved into this BSE, Basic Universal Education, where it's supposed to be free. They were even giving things like books. So the basic things you buy is your uniform and maybe your books. We already moved towards that in good luck, at least up to good luck regime. We had that met. But right now, to send a child to primary school, especially in the private schools, is very expensive. So if this man is someone that is working, is someone that can do more, it is this election phase we're supposed to have seen that. Our security men have been crying over the years of their salaries, not until this week that their salary is now increased by 80%. How would the workers work where there is no, how do they call it, motivation? They need this remuneration to serve as the innovation for them. I can't sacrifice my life for the country when I know that the cost benefit is nothing compared to it. But when I'm sure that if my children, when I'm gone, they are sick, when they go to the hospital, the cost of treatment is free, then I can be able to defend such a system. When I am sure that if something happened to me today, if my children go to school, the school fee, they will not be struggling to raise money for school fee because at least the basic one is free. I can be able to stand for the country, to fight for it. When I am sure that my own children do not need to put their hand in corrupt practices or to steal someone's thing to be able to survive, I can be able to defend such a system. When I'm sure that my children upon graduation, they can secure a well-paid job instead of going to sell kuli and akara, instead of going to sell agbado, I can be able to fight for such a system. That is the kind of leader that Nigeria needs. Imagine me spending 10 million naira to go to school and come back only to fry kuli on the road and akara. Please, how long will I sell akara to build a house so that I can now start planning to have a family and settle down? Someone should let us know in the comment box, how long will it take me as a first-class graduate that have spent over 15 million to go to school, and upon my graduation, I now go to start akara and kuli business? How long will it take me to build a house, to settle down, and then to get a family of my own? Please, I want us to share our own idea. Let's know how long it's going to take us, so that when I'm voting for such a man, I'll be sure that selling kuli and akara can be able to earn me life in at least a year or two. Let's be fair enough, at least a year or two. Please let us know, how possible could that be? How possible could that be that as a first-class graduate, as I am graduating, a medical doctor, I am graduating, I now go on the street to start selling kuli and akara? How long will it take me to have an hospital of myself? Because the last time I checked, the price of a bag of cement is no yoke. It is not child's play at all. When will I be established as a man to now start having a family of my own? Because the standard of living, in fact, someone jokingly said is that from birth, the country is already against you. That from birth, the country is already against you. So a working system, the standard of living should be something that should be affordable by everyone. Okay, let's look at the debate for the minimum wage. When minimum wage was discussed, it took number of months to debate between payment of 70,000 naira. And I will ask today, how many states are officially paying at least the basic, which is the minimum pay of 70,000 naira? How many? How many states have established that? As of today, where we are, how many states have established that? Because you still have people who still pay their workers. In fact, there's somebody I know, okay, I referred him to go for a particular job, and then he came back, he said, in a day, the person told me that the highest they can pay me is 5,000 naira in a day. I'm not talking about a light job. This person is a graduate, it's a menial job. It's a menial job. And then he said that they want to pay him 5,000 naira in a day. And I will ask, transport, I asked him to calculate his transport for each day. For each day he will go and return, his transport is 3,000 naira. For each day, his transport is 3,000 naira. For what if he's going to eat? And let me use the barest minimum. A plate of food right now in cities like Lagos, Abuja, and the rest is 1,500 naira. That is the least plate. I'm not talking about a well-furnished food. I'm not talking about well-choured food. I'm talking about the least, 1,500 naira. Now, let's say he's to take 2 square meal in that day. Another 3,000 naira, meaning that just transport and feeding for each day is going. He's spending 6,000 naira to earn 5,000 naira. And you are telling me that the economy of that system, the standard of living has improved. Instead of 5,000 naira, where is he now going to get money to rent, to pay for his rent? Let's say he falls sick. Where will he get the money to pay for his hospital bill? Let's say the child falls sick. Where will he get money to pay for the treatment? And now, states are still struggling. Now, if you calculate that money for the duration is going to be working, how much did that money enter? That shows us where we are and the reason why we need working and competent leaders in 2027. The reason why we should drop tribalism, the reason why we should drop religion and focus on competence. Because if you have a competent leader who focus more, okay, let's say for instance, over the years we have been hearing of Abacha loot, that they have returned Abacha loot. And then in Tinubu regime, we have now heard of this former CBN governor, his own return. He has forfeited this. Malami has forfeited this. This one has forfeited this. If the system was prudent enough, where are those money going? Why are we still borrowing? It's a question that if you have an answer, please tell us in the comment box. If we have recovered a lot of things from the former CBN governors, from the former this politician, that politician, recently we're even talking about people like Abba Kyari. If we have recovered things from those people have forfeited a lot of things, right? Why are we still borrowing? We talk about fuel subsidy. If fuel subsidy is off, why are we still borrowing? These are some of the questions we should be asking ourselves. Because the kind of leaders we need in 2027 are leaders that would focus more on production, focus more on creation rather than expenses, rather than consumption. Those are the type of leaders we need in 2027. Because if they can be able to track and close the loopholes, those leaking pockets, it means that the propensity to borrow will reduce, because whatsoever they are recovering will be an avenue to reduce how much they intend to borrow. And then when there are room for continuity, it will reduce the need to go back and start creating new ones in the future. So these are areas we should be looking at. We need people that are passionate about the health aspect. Now, let me share one with us, all right? A friend told me recently, say, I have somebody that had cancer of the liver and needed liver transplant, right? Now, when he said that now the person that I know that have done that procedure did it about 15 to 20 million some years back, right? He did 15 to 20 million. And today is to pay, ask him how much, he said is to pay 100 million for a start. 100 million. Remove 20 million out of 100 million, and you now see how much it costs for health. Check antibiotics today. Make a move. Try to get a common thing like Augmentin, a branded Augmentin, or let's start from unbranded Augmentin. That shows us how much we have deteriorated, how much our money have lost value. This government took dollar, I think around the range of 7 something or 6 something. Now dollar have slept in 1,350 naira. Dollar have permanently slept there in 1,350 naira as per naira. Sorry, please. Whereas they took the dollar from there about 6 something, 7 something. That shows us that we need leaders that are creative in nature, just like India did. India have done this. China have done this. Ghana have done this. Pull away the source for leakage, for bad governance. Put incompetent leaders, and you see the change. And that will fast forward to, which I want to let us know. On this race, we have a couple of hands without gazing so much that are ready to do the job. We have hands that are ready to do the job. And for me, weighing all the candidates, I can confidently tell you that the most competent candidate for 2027 race is Peter Obi. Check the record of Kwankwaso. Take your time, check the record of that man. And then he's now a type of man that joined force with Peter Obi, giving such an energy, giving such an alignment to the room. There is hope. There is actually hope for Nigeria. Don't allow anybody come to deceive you that Peter Obi did not do anything. For those of us that have been here from the beginning of this discussion, I have given us an highlight, which if you want us to talk about, we can keep talking to tomorrow. That man have done a whole lot, and a couple of, because he's not a man that blows his trumpet. That's why most of these things were hidden from the media. He has a plethora of achievements that he actually achieved. He's one of the most competent persons. And as I've said, what we need in 2027 is prudent leaders and creative leaders. Make the local environment conducive enough. As I shared one of those, I say, people no longer go to farm again because they are unsure that their safety is guaranteed in the farm. And then we still have Minister of Agriculture. He will still tell you he has given out loan. He will still tell you he has bought this and this and this in the agricultural sector. Why are you spending when people are running away from the farms? What are you spending on when they are running away from the farm? Is it not somebody who is saving the farm that will go to farm? So we need somebody that can tackle the aspect of education, tackle the aspect of health, tackle the aspect of security, and then tackle the aspect of government leakage in 2027. In recent times, we have had persons defect. A lot of persons defect to APC, ADC, some defected to NDC. There's this interesting thing that happened in 2023. Some persons joined the wave of Peter Obi and got to office because they wanted to get to office. And when they got to office, after winning the election, they now defected to APC. That means they never planned to improve the country. They never planned at all to grow the country. That's why we're suffering what we're suffering today. They just wanted to win election. And that's why in 2027, I emphasize competence. Don't just vote anybody because of party. In 2027, for me alone, let's leave party. Let's vote candidate. Let's choose candidates that are competent enough to represent us. Look at you start from your local government, because mornings, there was one of the APC major chieftain that I had a discussion one of those days with. He said, if you don't see any production, because he happened to shed some light for me. So if you don't see any improvement, any innovation in each of the local government, it is because the local government chairman there are actually diverting the fund, or they are not using the fund on what they are supposed to use the fund on. Yes, there are two sides to that. The first side is that if the local government actually had competent hand, people that have the passion, the heart for the people that are nation builders, with how this man is sharing money, there should be a lot of improvement in different local governments. There should be improvement in different local government, different wards. But because this local government chairman, they are only focused on their pocket, on their self-interest. So therefore, you are not seeing anything. And the question, which is the second part, is that if the man has actually performed and is a man that holds people accountable, is prudent, then he would have been able to hold each of those officers accountable. Because that is why he's the number one man. He has the right to fire. He has the right to hire and to fire. If he can be able to suspend the Rivers State governor, what stops him from suspending or questioning or even investigating a councillor or a chairman that is not performing well? But because, to my own assumption, I feel maybe because, okay, he needs to win election. Because if these people he start going after them, then maybe they will not support him. But if he was someone that was able to regulate all these things, he doesn't need to think about this. When we see him go against those that loot and spend public funds, and not because you belong to APC, your sins are forgiven. Trust me, Nigerians will be behind his back. Trust me, people will not even negotiate any other candidate. People will not even be behind any other candidate. But because what we have observed over the years, once you defect to APC, before you know, every cases and charges against you has been acquitted. That is casting doubts in the heart of people. So we need a leader that will be able to hold his subordinates into account and say, come and make account for every money allocated to you. And also, while voting, we need to vote from the grassroots. People that have the people in their mind. People that are able to deliver. Those are the kind of people we need in the office. Let's leave party in 2027. So all this defecting, it is common for you to hear this defecting this period. But don't lose focus. Don't lose focus. I believe in the past 3 years, which is almost getting to 4 years now, it has touched every one of us. You know where it has touched you. It is only somebody that benefited from this government that will be expecting the same kind of governance in 2027. In 2027, another concern is, will our votes count? I know somebody want to ask that in the question, so in the comment box. I want to assure you very well, in 2027, our votes must count. The power within the people is greater than the power of those in government. We have not yet say e don do. We never talk say e dey enough. We have not come to that point where we say e dey enough, e don do then. The day will tell them e don do. Did you see the energy in NSAS? Did you see that energy in NSAS? That is the energy. Look at the energy across the country. That is the energy that can drive these people and put them on their feet when the whole country decide and say e don do. How many police are there? The police, navy, all the forces put together, they are not over 500,000. And then we are a country of over 200 million. That means if you want to break it down, a single police as against over 600 to 1,000 persons, can he stand it? So the power is within the people. And in 2027, your vote must count. And we have stated a couple of strategies. The other day we talked about Operation Dan. I don't know how many persons have heard about that project, Operation Dan. If you have heard about it, please let me know in the comment box, Operation Dan. If you have heard something like that, let us know in the comment box, Operation Dan. If you have heard about it, let us know in the comment box. If you have heard about Operation Dan, let us know in the comment box. Thank you everyone for connecting. Please, if you are just connecting, help us to double tap on your screen. Help us to like this live stream. You can also help us to share the live stream. If you have any contribution, also share with us in the comment box. It is actually supposed to be a contributory class, a participative discussion. So please, while we are discussing, you have anything at all, anything bothering you, share it in the comment box. Because very soon we'll be wrapping up this live stream. So let us know in the comment box, what are your fears? What are your concerns? What have you observed? What do you think needs to be changed in 2027? Share with us in the comment box. What do you think are the areas that need to change in 2027? Let us know in the comment box. And who are you voting in 2027? Who is your candidate 2027? For me, I've shared with us that my own candidate is Peter Obi, because I've shared with us the reason why I'm going to be voting for him. Because it's a man that have had a track record of competence. It's a man that will not be looking. And you know that the interesting thing is that if we effectively, or when we effectively put somebody like Peter Obi into office, the fact that we have been able to make Tinubu to do one tenure means that if Peter Obi misbehave, there is no room at all for him. We even impeach him before he completes the tenure. And that's why we must take it very serious. We must let these people know that if you are not ready to serve us in 2027, our votes will vote you out. And I believe on the 15th of August, Osun State will be demonstrating their franchise. If you are in Osun State, please, if you are in Osun State, let us know in the comment box. How many persons are connecting from Osun State? Please, also, if you are just connecting to this live stream, please let us know in the comment box, where are you connecting from and what time of the day is it at your time? Sorry, at your end. What time of the day is it at your end? Who is your candidate? Who are you voting for in 2027? I want to be sure that we are hearing me. That's why I'm waiting for our comments, please. Let me be sure that I'm not just talking to myself. How many persons are actually hearing me? Let us know in the comment box. If you can get me, let us know in the comment box, please. Let us know in the comment box. If you can get me, let us know in the comment box. I am seeing a lot of persons on the live stream, but I'm only seeing 2 likes. Please, we can do more. Help us just like the live stream, please. Please help us like the live stream, okay? So as I was saying, in 2027, our vote will count. And one of the strategies I've mentioned that we have been discussing on is Operation Dan. And just a quick one, what is Operation Dan? Operation Dan is just a platform that brings all NDC supporters together that want to ensure that the vote in 2027 actually counts. And then it also not just vote counting, also having people who participate in the election to ensure that we all participate, we all come out and vote. And there are a couple of strategies we want to use to ensure that the vote counts, which is that for every vote that are counted, wherever you are in the world, you can be able to see your vote. We can see each vote from each polling unit across the globe. Now, okay, Kenu Reeves, say hi. Thank you so much, Kenu Reeves. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you so much. I can see somebody have liked the live stream. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful to have you here with us. Thank you so much. So Operation Dan bring people of like mind together. And then as they come together to be able to defend their vote, to be able to ensure that their votes count. And how are they going to do so? First, they have to come out and vote. That is number one. Number two, using the Kwankwaso principle. After they have finished voting, they will not just go home. They will step back and ensure that their votes are counted. Remember in Kano State, they said that if they vote, after they voted and finished, they said they needed their vote to be counted. And if you don't count it, you'll be counted. So that is the kind of energy we need in 2027. If you don't count our votes, you'll be counted. So after you have voted and finished, you also step back. You know, in 2023, why lots of all this rigging took place was because the Labour Party did not have a lot of party representative in each of the polling units. In each of those polling units, most of the polling units did not have agents. And towards that time, close to election time, there was a serious crack in the Labour Party that we even thought that Peter Obi was not even going to continue the race in 2023. But this time, which is even an update, if you check my community tab, I've posted about something like that, that there is already a body that has been organized to reconcile all those persons that were aggrieved. You know, a lot of people picked form, and then they couldn't make it to the final list. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So Mr. Kenu says that, okay, say, I am Daniel. I'm a big fan of Peter Obi. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. That means you're actually a progressive. You're among those that wants the progress of this country. And I want to assure you indeed that with Peter Obi, a new Nigeria is actually possible. With Peter Obi, a new Nigeria is actually possible. So after this set of persons, or after everybody have voted and finished, they will step back and ensure the vote is counted. And then it is not ending there. They will escort the vote to the how they call it, the head office, like the office where the INEC office, the zonal offices of the INEC, which from there, now that is like the end part, right? Now let's move from there. There's another part that will take place during the course. First, prior to election period, these persons will create awareness. Also, during the campaign season, which campaign is starting on the 20th of August, campaign is starting in 2 weeks' time from now. They'll also be on ground to go around and also for the campaign in their various states, right? So this person will also be able to create awareness for people and then bring people into the platform that will be able to also perform these activities, right? And then on that day, they will be equipped with smart glasses, smart watches, and then to also go out with their camera phones to ensure that they record actively everything that's taking place while the election is going on. And then it will be transmitted through that platform to the world so that anywhere somebody is across the globe, they can see the vote of your polling unit. Yeah. That's what we're talking about, Mr. Daniel. That's what we're talking about. It is part of this plan for the Operation Dan. So they will go out with smart glasses, the smart watches, they will go out with smartphones, and they will record each of the polling units, how the activity, all the activity that is going on. The final vote, after counting the vote, they will also video it, post it immediately on the platform so that the world will see. So that this, why are they posting all this? It's because we need evidence. So that when they now go during the collation, where the professors will go and do, those returning officers, they will go and announce their result. If in your polling unit, let's say ADC had 21, APC had 400, NDC had 1,000, and they now go and say ADC have 1,000, why NDC have 400? We'll ask them, where did you get the additional vote from? And where did other parties lost their vote to? Because there is an evidence on life. Somebody like Aisha Yusuf, while they were investigating that 2023 election malpractice, all the things, the activity that happened, it was on a platform that they got most of these videos that they were able to use to make some of the report. So, but this time we wanted to go, not just one person, these collectives of persons who wants our election to be free, fair, and credible. They're the ones, because in 2027, all hands needs to be on deck. So while the election is going on, they are recording everything and they are posting immediately on the platform. So we are seeing actively what is going on each of the centers. And then you must stand your ground. This time, you will not leave it for some people. Everybody needs to come out. They can't misbehave when the crowd is much. If the crowd is overwhelmingly much, they cannot misbehave. They cannot misbehave. And that's why we say, when you come out to vote, also come out to protect your vote. That protection of your vote is even more important than even the vote itself. Whatsoever will help you protect your vote, come out that day. As you come out to vote, come out also to protect your vote. And ensure that the votes are well counted, and as you are posting it live, as they are going, the world will already know what the result is. And by 2 p.m. of that day, from all the statistics gathered across all polling units, we should be able to predict who the likely winner is going to be before INEC will come and announce their own. So that is what the vision that this Operation Dan has in place. And this person will be mobilized, they'll actually be sponsored. So please, this, if you have not heard about Operation Dan, I've just explained in brief what it looks like. So do well to check it up. You can use your browser, check it up. Operation Dan. The Dan is D-A-N-N. D-A-N-N. Operation Dan. Now, as I said earlier, the purpose of this particular live stream was to remind us again that we need to be on guard. That in this season, propaganda will fly, but you need to be on guard and ensure that somebody does not come and paint a wrong narrative about Peter Obi. Yes, our faith as of now that we are speaking, Peter Obi is on the ballot box. Like, he's going to be on the ballot box. He has been already uploaded on the INEC portal. Rabi Kwankwaso has been uploaded. Every happened that need to be, they have been uploaded. So the race has already been set. Campaign is starting on the 20th. Campaign is starting on the 20th of this month. Today is 7th, meaning in 13 days' time, campaign is actually flagging off. So that is the current state, Mr. Dan. Any other person have question or contribution in the comment box, please do well to share with us. If you have question, you have contribution, help us. At this point, you can start sending your contribution. Please guide your mind against every form of propaganda. Don't allow religious sentiment to tear us apart. Don't allow tribal sentiment to tear us apart. That is the game that they always play. But immediately after election, you will not hear all these tribal issues, you will not hear about this religious issue and these regional issues. But the consequence of the decision that has been made will be suffered by everybody. Whether you are a Muslim, there is no market you go that it is only for Muslim that you go and buy something cheaper than what the Christians are buying. Whether you are a traditional person, everybody are going to suffer the consequence of whatsoever decision we are going to make in 2027. Just the way we are suffering the consequence of 2023. So Mr. Peter Progress say, what's the importance of voting Peter Obi? I've already talked about that, Mr. Progress Peter. I've already shared that. So you can do well to... Okay, somebody said, yeah. Okay, say, Mr. Daniel said, please, one thing I want to say again, lady will be the family of man. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get this. I really don't get this particular point, Mr. Daniel. You can reframe your question or your contribution. So I've shared it already. Peter Obi is one of the most competent person on the race as of the moment, because we need to make, in fact, 3 major areas. 1, security. 2, accountability of our fund. We don't need expenditures again. We don't need people that will loot our fund. We don't need people that will loot. We don't need people that will loot our fund again. We need people that will be held accountable for our funds. And Peter Obi is that man that's ready to hold people accountable. He's that man that focuses more on production. And then in terms of the health and security, is that man that can be able to reset the country. That's why Peter Obi is that option. So please, I think at this point, we would like to draw the curtain at this point. Any other further question or contribution? If not, at this point, please, we will have to see how to draw the curtain here. And also, if you want to support this channel, I would really appreciate. If you want to support with super chat, super thanks, anyone, you can check below. There's a $sign there. You can click on it just to support. And also, there are videos you can also be watching from this particular channel from time to time. Do well. While every other updates you need, from time to time, I'll be coming online. In fact, as campaign is starting on the 20th, I'll be more frequent online so we can discuss on updates. Each update as it comes out, I will discuss on it so that you know what to do per time. I believe at this point, we all have our voters card, right? And we know our polling unit. Exactly. Please mind what you digest on social media as an obedient supporter so that you will not be carried away by the propagandas. Mind what you hear on social media. Thank you so much, Mr. Dan, for that contribution. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that contribution. Mind what you hear on social media so that you will not be carried away with false narratives. So I hope we all know our polling unit at this point. It is important, not that money. It is not that money of election you start running around to look for where your polling unit is located. I hope we all have our voters card. Please, let's take that serious. Keep your voters card safe and secure. And then mobilize people. Start telling your friends and family. Somebody cannot be a worker and you are telling the person that you are paying the person with your money or your family member, and then you are allowing them to go and vote somebody that will come and suffer you, will not give you a productive environment to continue your investment. So everybody around you, they should have the same vision and idea with you at this point. We need competent leaders come 2027. And so it should not be carried away by religious sentiment, by tribal sentiment. It should not be carried away. Even somebody come to buy your vote, tell him no. I can't sell my future. Don't be Esau to sell your future with a plate of akara and agbado and kulikuli. So please, we can do well to double tap on the screen just to like this live stream. Any question? I'm just waiting for a question or contribution. Any suggestion at all? Because I think in the next 8 minutes we should be done. In the next 8 minutes we should be done. Any question at this point, any contribution? We have said a lot from the beginning of this live stream. Please help me to like the live stream. Click the like button. It's free of charge. If you have not subscribed, help us to subscribe, please. It's actually free of charge. You're not paying for it. You're actually not paying for it, please. Any question, any contribution, please. You can actually send in your contribution at this point. We're almost wrapping up already. We're almost wrapping up already. Any question, any contribution, please do well to share it at this point before we call it a day. Any question at all, any contribution, please kindly share it on the comment box. Any question, any contribution, the floor is open for us. You have any suggestion for us? Share it in the comment box. And for those of us who are just connecting, we have said a whole lot. You can follow up on the live stream. You can check it to be posted on this channel so that you hear all that we have discussed from the beginning. We have said a whole lot. We have discussed about the achievement of the various presidential candidates. We have also shared the reason why Peter Obi should be your option. We have 6 minutes to go. Any question, any suggestion, any contribution, please help us to like the live stream. You can help us to also click the subscribe button. We are here to answer every form of questions. Please bring your question up, bring your contribution. Someone also can learn from you. And also let us know where you're connecting from. Where will you be voting from? Let us know in the comment box, please. Let's actually say something in the comment box. Where will you be voting from? Where will you be voting from? Which state will you be voting from? Let me know in the comment box. Which state will you be voting Peter Obi from? Which state will you be voting Peter Obi from? Which state will you be voting Peter Obi from? Let us know in the comment box. 2027, I've said your votes will count. We have a lot of strategy in stock already. We have a lot of strategy in place. We're only waiting for that year to reach. Let us know in the comment box. We have 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go. Any suggestion, any contribution, any question? I really appreciate every one of us that have been here from the beginning of this live stream. Trust me, I don't take your presence for granted. Trust me, I don't take your presence for granted. It means a whole lot to us. Like it means a whole lot. And we look forward to a progressive country. Indeed, Nigeria can be better again. A new Nigeria is actually possible. Trust me, a new Nigeria is actually possible. We can have a vibrant economy. We can be competing with the Dubai, with the Tokyo. Yes, we can. But it all starts from us getting it right with our leadership selection. As I've always maintained, we don't have a resource problem. We don't have challenge with our resources. The challenge we have is that of leadership selection and election. And once we get this right, come 2027, a new Nigeria is actually possible. And that's why platforms like this are here to enlighten us, to inform us, and also to educate us ahead of 2027. What we should be doing, what we should avoid, and then what we need to know way ahead of time, which is like today we focus on trying to avoid propagandas, because indeed propagandas will come ahead of them. The person you already have in mind to vote, if you don't know well about that candidate, somebody can just sell a lie to you and you change your mind from voting the candidate that is competent enough. This is not just for Peter Obi alone, for every other candidate that you know, down to the councillors, down to the House of Reps. So you must know your candidates enough. That's why this particular platform is here to educate you. And for the presidential level, we're actually rooting for Peter Obi and Rabiu Kwankwaso under the NDC platform. So, I don't know, any contribution, any question? 3 minutes left. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please, there's a subscribe button below. It's actually free of charge. Nobody charges you for anything. Just click on it. So that whenever we come online again that want to give us any other update, you can easily get the notification. And then we also have videos that can also keep you aware of each of the candidates and what's going on, what's trending in the country. So you can also be able to have access to them with ease. So please, you can do well to subscribe to this channel. Do well to subscribe. If you have not liked this live stream, please, I'm pleading of us, help us to just double tap your screen or you click the like button below. And with that, you will like the live stream. If you want to share, you can. I think I will really appreciate if you share the live stream. So that those persons that have not watched this, what we have discussed or said and so on, they can have the opportunity to do so. And if you are just connecting now, you can do well to also check back the live stream because we have discussed a whole lot. So you'll be able to get first hand for yourself what has been discussed. For everyone that have connected right from the beginning, trust me, I appreciate your presence, I appreciate your effort, I appreciate everything. It means a lot to me. And we look forward to that moment where this particular channel becomes your most favorite click. I believe your voter's card is safe and you are polishing it up for 2027. Let me know in the comment box, where will you be voting Peter Obi from? Where will you be voting Peter Obi from? Which state, which polling unit, which local government, where will you be voting Peter Obi from? All right, at this point, I think we'll need to call it a day. In the absence of any question, any suggestion, any contribution, it has always and will always be very, very pleasurable for meeting and discussing with us. Thank you so much. See us on subsequent live stream. Love you all. Cheers.